What's cracking, yo? Welcome back to Boo TV. Appreciate you for stopping in. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified, and let's get into the topic for today. What it do, what it do, what it do, what is poppin'? Back with some more Larry Bird content. Before I get into it, check out our Larry Bird playlist and our reaction video playlist. A lot of people putting out recommendations about or for reactions that I've already done for videos. So make sure you go check out the playlist. You might see some more stuff you like or that you're thinking about recommending and it's already done. But still appreciate the recommendations. Nonetheless, this one I just stumbled upon. I'm surprised I haven't seen this yet. As I'm doing so much Larry Bird content, I'm realizing that I'm pretty much combing through damn near every Larry Bird strand of hair out there on the internet. But I'm having fun with our new series, actually breaking down. Now, I've only done one for Bird. No, I've done two for Bird, but actually breaking down individual plays and talking about them. And I'm having fun doing that as well. Be on the lookout for more of that coming as well. But this one, Vintage NBA Larry Bird, a special on NBA TV. Can't wait to see what this one's about. I hope that we get to hear some new testimony, just some new talking points about Bird and some new opinions or whatever they might talk about. But I'm ready to get into it. Larry Legend, in my opinion, the greatest small forward of all time and the third greatest player of all time. Let's check it out.
In the town of French Lick, that young Larry Bird honed his skills to perfection and grew up to become the savior of the NBA's most fabled franchise. The story of a rare bird is next on Vintage NBA.
100 points. 2 seconds. 1 second. West throws it up. He makes it. Now there's a steal by Bird.
Of course.
Yes, basketball has changed. It's always been a great game, but now it has a new spirit.
I mean KG.
He dunks like that.
Grant Hill.
He might be the new Iceman.
Biggest what if.
Modern day.
One of the biggest what ifs.
He looked like Magic Johnson. The future has arrived.
Mamba.
Watching what greatness is all about.
Hello everyone and welcome to Vintage NBA. I'm Robin Roberts. Today we devote our show to one of the game's all-time greats, the player known as Larry Legend, Hall of Famer Larry Bird. During the 80s, he led the Boston Celtics back to glory.
Pause. This is definitely a 90s production. The music, the colors, the hair. This is 90s production, baby. Love it. My favorite decade.
While also helping to revitalize the NBA. And when his playing days were over, Larry returned home to Indiana, this time to be a coach, as he took charge of the Pacers. There he got to coach a player who's a master of clutch shooting just like Bird himself. He's Reggie Miller. And this week he's in the chair, talking about what it's like to play for a legend.
Growing up in California, everyone hated this man. Between the Lakers and the Celtics rivalry, no one really wanted to hear anything about Larry Bird.
One way or another, Bird kills you.
But being a shooter and a scorer, I could respect Larry.
Larry Bird with a big three-point bomb.
He made big shots, he made big plays, he made his teammates better.
Here's Larry Bird chucking down the court.
He did it all.
This game is Larry Bird's. I mean, he's doing everything.
Each and every time he entered or approached a game, he knew that his will, his desire, what he was going to accomplish that night was going to be the determining factor.
Lead to Bird off the fake, improves his position, and the Celtics are up again.
I think probably the most infamous is the steal against Detroit.
Detroit by 1, 17 seconds, so Boston goes for the final shot.
It's one of those games where you remember where you're at that time because everyone's like, oh my goodness, they're going to beat the Celtics. This is unbelievable. And I remember I was in LA at the dorms. The guys were all around. We were watching the game.
And the ball gets knocked out of bounds by Ain't. No, they call it the other way. The Detroit ball with 5
seconds to go.
You know, Detroit was right at the apex to get over the hump, and the only way you were going to get over the hump was to beat the Celtics. Isaiah wants to hurriedly get the ball in bounds, which is a good move on his part.
And now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in.
Wait a minute. Are you kidding me? No. No, he didn't.
What a play by Bird.
Johnny Most, man. Bird! The still inbound ball. Bird! Hold it over to DJ for the layup. Bird! Love that guy. Rest in peace.
Stole the inbounding pass. And Boston has a 1-point lead with 1 second left. Oh my, this place is going crazy.
I love that guy. His calls are amazing.
It's funny. My rookie year, our first game was in the Garden. Of course, the Celtics were beating us down, but we were playing very competitively. And I remember, you know, because I had never met Larry before, and I remember him walking up to me and saying, you know, keep working hard. You know, you're going to be a good one. And for him to say that to me, and I'm on an opposing team, and he doesn't know me from Adam, that really meant a lot.
Come on, guys. This is big time here. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 2.
Rick
You know,
Smits.
it's hard to even fathom that he is coaching.
Be patient on offense, okay? Take your time and get whatever you want.
During the games, when we're making runs and we're getting back into the game or we're stretching the lead, you know, he'll always look at me and say, if you got a chance to shoot a three, to put the dagger in, do it.
Picks up Mullen, kicks it to Jackson. Miller, a wide open three. It's good. The pitch out to Miller for three. Reggie Miller with a cold-blooded three.
We all know that Larry, he lived this game, and he poured his heart and soul into this game. And Coach would have played this game for free because of the love of the game. But what I like the most about him is he still hates to lose, even in the coaching ranks. Every time he steps on the court, he doesn't know the word lose. He just wants to win.
Reggie says he would have loved to have played alongside Bird, but the next best thing is playing for him. Now, Larry had never coached at any level before joining the Pacers, but his on-the-job training went pretty smoothly. In his first season, he led Indiana to the conference finals and won the Coach of the Year award. All he had to do was find room for it in his trophy case, which was already jam-packed from his playing days. And we'll look back at his career in just a moment.
He was not about clothes, he was not about fashion, wasn't about cars, he was about the love of the game.
Like I said, this has got to be a 90s production. Now, if he's talking about when Larry led the Pacers as coach to the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm assuming he's talking about the 97-98 season where they lost to the Chicago Bulls in the Eastern Conference Finals before Jordan would go on to win his last championship with the Bulls. But I'm trying to remember during Larry's tenure before, did they make it to the conference finals in 99, which would be the lockout season? Because if not, then this production would be, if it's not that, hold on, let me check. Okay, I was right. Oh, I was right, but I wasn't wrong. Oh, anyway. So yeah, that first year, the 97-98 season, like I said, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. They lost to the Bulls in 7 games. But in 99, which I was right, it was the lockout season. I knew the Knicks. I knew the Knicks was one of the teams. I can't remember who they had played in the Eastern Conference Finals, but it was the Indiana Pacers again in the conference finals. They lost to the Knicks. And then we all know the year following the lockout, year 2000, Pacers go to the finals, lose to Shaq and Kobe in the 99-2000 season, the 2000 NBA Finals. So Larry Bird, I knew he had the Eastern Conference. Now I think about it, that's an amazing 3-year coaching run, man. 2 Eastern Conference Finals berths and an NBA Finals berth. That's an impressive first 3 years as a coach, if you ask me. With really, I was, and definitely no super team, but his best player was Reggie Miller during that time. And I guess the second best player, just coming off the top of my head, would have had to have been Jalen Rose. Rick Smith was pretty good. I think Travis Best was on that team. Austin Crozier, don't know what year Crozier came over. But they weren't no world beaters or anything like that. That's just good basketball and good coaching, good leadership by Reggie. But yeah, so that would make this production, based on what they said, they mentioned leading the team to the Eastern Conference Finals berth. So it would have to be 98 or 99. Well, it would have to be 98 to 99, which means that the 98 season would have already happened. So this have to be 98, 99. If not, then 99, 2000. All this because I'm just trying to figure out what year this production was made. I guess I could have Googled that too. I could have just Googled that directly. Anyway, I've gone on too long. Let's continue. My apologies, folks. My apologies.
People already are starting to compare you to some of the all-time greats, on the pro game. Do you think this is fair?
No, not really. I play a whole different game. I try to just do the things that I have to do to win, and I know it takes just more in scoring, so I don't care who I'm comparing with, I'm still Larry Bird.
In the late 70s, the once proud Boston Celtics had fallen on some pretty tough times, but they were revived by a rather unlikely hero, a shy country boy from a small town in Indiana named Larry Bird. In college, he led unheralded Indiana State to the national championship game. And in 1979, he began turning the Celtics into winners once again. Over the next decade, Bird led Boston to 3 NBA titles and won 3 MVP awards. He always played his best when the stakes were highest, and he left behind some unforgettable images. Larry Joe Bird was one of those players that your eyes were always drawn to. Maybe it was his blonde, almost whitish hair, or his ruddy, pale complexion, or the way he single-handedly placed a small, anonymous rural school on the basketball map. Remember the way he used to rub his hands dry on the bottoms of his sneakers?
Did Larry Bird start that? Did Larry Bird start the rubbing the bottom of your sneaker? Because we used to do that in high school all the time, and even occasionally when I still go play basketball, I do that. We used to, that's just something that I picked up from playing street ball, on the court. But did Larry Bird create that? Did he start that? Let me know in the comment section if you know.
Arriving in Boston in 1979, he entered into basketball's ultimate cathedral and quickly became etched in part of the history of the NBA's most storied franchise.
He seems like a Celtic. I mean, can anybody envision Larry Bird wearing a Laker uniform? He doesn't even look right. I mean, think about the colors on Larry. Does that look right? I don't think so.
And as if performing from a written script, this unique player rescued a fallen dynasty while embodying all the qualities of past Celtic greats. The deft passing of Bob Cousy, the burning intensity of Dave Cowens, the art of the steal like John Havlicek. The brashness of the Celtic patriarch, Red Auerbach, and the ability to wage a psychological war on the court, like Bill Russell.
I called Larry Bird one year, and I said, I just want to tell you something. The way you conducted yourself and the way you played made me proud to be a Celtic.
But no one saw the game quite like Bird did. With his unique vision and peerless court sense, Bird used the other players on the basketball court the way a grandmaster moved the pieces on a chessboard.
Now they clear aside for Larry. Fakes it. Bird. There's the play of the game, right there.
But his skills did not come without sacrifice. The quintessential gym rat, who was constantly looking to improve, Bird was a working-class hero who fans of the last rows could relate to.
He was not about clothes, he was not about fashion, wasn't about cars, he was about the love of the game. I could never relax because I knew Larry was working. Whatever it is that he couldn't do, I knew he was going to work on it.
The combination of his superior talents and his reserved, sometimes cryptic personality made him all the more fascinating to the entire country. And his background only added to his mystique. Hailing from a small town that seemed almost fictitious, he appeared to be more like a Mark Twain character than a basketball impresario. Like the quiet drifter in an old western from a bygone era, he possessed an innate destroyer instinct, always knowing how to put away his opponents.
Well, I had a lot of confidence that I had an opportunity to do something to help our team win. If it came down to that last shot, I wanted to take it.
2 seconds left. The Bullets by 1. Aims to Bird. He gets a good shot in the Celtics winner. Incredible.
Suns by 2. They throw to Bird. Here comes Bird. Puts it up. Counts the bucket. We're tied at 104. And Bird will go to the line for his 51st point.
2-point Maverick lead.
Bird's the man they want to have it. Yes, indeed.
Bird for 3. Yes! Larry Bird for 3 with 4 seconds to go. Celtics lead it by 1. What can you say about Larry Bird?
Hitting so many clutch baskets time and time again, it was amazing that teams couldn't devise a way to stop him. And on those rare occasions when he did miss his mark, he did so with a quality that made him heroic, even in defeat.
He was just a phenomenal teammate who could do anything and everything by himself, but always in the framework of the team.
I care about my teammates. I want to see my teammates do well. He personified that.
I liked it when everybody was involved. You know, you play as a team, you win as a team, you lose as a team.
Never seeking public attention, Bird exuded a quiet inner dignity. A reluctant hero, he preferred to let his play on the court speak for itself, which in turn made him even more endearing.
Larry Bird just, whew. We better move on, because we'll be here for hours talking about him.
Touching the hearts of everyone who watched him play, he left behind a sense of wonder and a lasting legacy. He was Larry Legend. Larry left an indelible mark on the game and surprised many people along the way. He was often told he couldn't run, couldn't jump, and didn't have the athleticism for the NBA. But whatever he lacked physically, he more than made up for with intensity, intelligence, and sheer hard work. From his childhood in French Lick, Indiana, to his final days in Boston, Bird never stopped working to improve. He was nicknamed the Hick from French Lick. But as Larry once said, quote, "I came to Boston a hick and left a legend, and that's not bad." Later, we'll relive one of Bird's greatest moments against Magic and the Lakers in the '84 finals.
Michael Jackson wins 8 Grammy Awards.
Welcome back, everyone, to Vintage NBA. The careers of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson will forever be linked. They had one of the NBA's greatest rivalries. As we log on to the Vintage NBA page at NBA.com, it says that Johnson's Lakers took 2 or 3 NBA finals from Bird's Celtics. And you couldn't have had 2 more perfectly cast rivals. Magic, the flashy showman who embodied the glitz and glamour of L.A., versus the poker-faced blue-collar Bird who symbolized the tradition of Boston.
When that game was coming up 2-3 weeks out, people were preparing then. And both cities just, as soon as we hit town, it was like the devil hitting town, you know? It's like, oh, uh-oh, the devil is here, you know? I mean, the baggage guys at the airport. Oh, Magic, Larry's gonna kill you tomorrow. There's no magic here. This is Larry Bird town.
The Larry Magic rivalry was so captivating it was even turned into a TV commercial, one that featured Johnson invading Bird's home turf.
I heard Converse made a pair of Bird shoes for last year's MVP.
Yep.
Well, they made a pair of Magic shoes for this year's MVP.
Okay, Magic, show me what you got.
The Bird Shoe, the magic shoe. Choose your weapon.
Bet you forgot about that commercial, huh? One man who recognized the value of one-on-one competition was Magic's former coach, Pat Riley, a master motivator and one of the NBA's greatest coaches.
I don't think you ever get anywhere in life unless you develop an adversary. And you want to have an adversary, an opponent, an enemy in your business that's going to motivate you, that's going to bring out the best in you.
Great rivalries have always been a hallmark of the sports world. But head-to-head showdowns aren't just limited to the athletic arena. Throughout history, adversaries have been duking it out. Some of the best? So glad you asked. Way back when, there was a battle waged between Grant and Lee, just a little dispute that developed into the Civil War. In West Side Story, the Sharks and the Jets rumbled for the rights to their turf, the streets of New York. King Kong already owned New York and the Empire State Building, but he had to fight Godzilla for the mantle of greatest monster. For many years, the Cold War raged between the U.S. and the USSR. Luckily, that one never came to blows. But it does come to blows every Saturday morning between these two. The funny thing is, the Roadrunner seems to win every time. Now, of course, we couldn't get to all the...
This is way off the subject of Larry Bird, but y'all remember that episode of Looney Tunes when Wile E. Coyote actually caught Roadrunner and he ain't even know what to do with that fool when he finally caught him?
Famous rivals. For instance, the Hatfields and the McCoys will have to wait for another show. We only have so much time, folks. But we do have a little battle between the NBA's arch enemies, the Lakers and the Celtics, coming up. They'll square off in the 1984 finals in one of Larry Bird's greatest moments, a pressure cooker that came to be known as the sauna game. So stay with us. 5 years after battling for the NCAA title, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson renewed their rivalry in the NBA. The Celtics and Lakers met for the 1984 championship. They split the first 4 games, and Game 5 was a heated battle in more ways than one, as Boston Garden was sweltering. We'll relive that game in a special sighting for you bird watchers, straight from the ornithology section of the Airwave Archive. Larry and the Celtics lead by 6 in the second quarter as we join Dick Stockton and Tommy Heinsohn on a steamy June 8th, 1984.
Everyone is hot, over 90 degrees, and moving toward that century figure.
Boston Garden's idea of air conditioning is to open all the doors and have the ushers blow hard.
Could you imagine all those people in there?
The Celtics have committed 2 team fouls. The Lakers 1. And the free throw by McGee. McHale on the follow-up.
McHale flushed that straight down. Good double.
Kareem goes inside and lays it in, and the basket counts in a foul. So after McGee missed, the Celtics scored, and now Kareem double team.
They're really surrounding him. Everybody's back in the paint, but boy, what
all
a
off
nice
the pivot.
super move. That was really a terrific move by Jabbar to free himself.
But Kevin McHale has 4 personal fouls. McHale has 4 fouls and remains in the ball game. Cedric Maxwell will undoubtedly replace him momentarily. So the Celtics may not be getting that much out of McHale beyond what they've seen. McHale is fouled, and the crowd cheers derisively at the officials, who think it's been all in favor of the Lakers so far.
McHale goes to the bench right now with those 4 personals as Maxwell arrives on the scene. But McHale, they feel that he is their real big advantage at power forward. Nobody of the Lakers can guard him. At least that's what Casey Jones feels. He's had some troubles against this 1 foot in the paint defense by Pat Riley. The last ball game, he got his shots off, but didn't hit them.
McHale goes out with 10 points. Are the Lakers playing it as tight inside as they have in the previous games?
Well, we're seeing a little bit more outside now. Bird is starting to move outside, or another one of the Celtics, a little bit more movement in their offense.
So the Lakers are not packed in as much.
Nope.
Bird blocked from behind. It's still Boston ball, and it was Magic Johnson who came from behind Larry Bird.
Got Magic
To get a piece of that one.
playing some
7:40
defense.
remain in the first half. The Celtics by 5, now 7, as Dennis Johnson is in double figures with 10 points.
I'm about to say, y'all just about to leave Johnson open?
Magic Johnson, Cooper, Rambis, Kareem, and Worthy, the same 5 that started the game. The Celtics, pesky as well as the Lakers are, tipping loose balls.
I'll tell you, Johnson is playing like a man possessed. DJ, Dennis Johnson.
And you know, Magic always does. 7 on the shot clock. Magic Johnson with a screen from Rambis. It's his first outside shot. He's underrated in that department. That's his 4th point in the ball game.
Underrated.
40-35 Celtics.
Oof.
Buckner has seen a lot of action here in this first half. Parrish. Rambis the rebound.
As an unheralded man on the Lakers, Kurt Rambis, boy, he does a blue-collar job for this team.
Magic Johnson is on a hot streak. It's 2 in a row. And now the Lakers have come within 3. They had a 6-point lead in the first period.
Good pass.
Moved out to 8, and this basket counts.
Magic said, "You gonna respect my jumper."
Gets the basket. He has 10 points and will have a chance for a 3-point play.
Here you see Larry Bird, great pick by Parrish.
It's one thing, man.
Cooper is going to be facing all those bodies on picks, and here's the foul. 3-point possibility.
That's one thing I love about Larry. I love about Mike. I love about Kobe. Is that when they don't have the ball, they're just not standing around. They're moving. They're trying to get to their spots. They're looking to catch the ball and go quick into their move.
Dennis Johnson's on Cooper, and the sky hook. The sky hook.
So many stars now, you know, they really don't know how to operate without the basketball.
To be off with it. You know, there's a certain rhythm you develop shooting a shot. The Celtics have been
It's a
bumping
skill
a little bit.
that's important to the team that really doesn't get talked about.
You ever see many players who can shoot off balance?
You know, when you're just sitting there in the corner because you're not the one handling the ball, it's not good for the offense. It causes stagnation.
Well, the close guy I can think to him is Paul Westphal.
Magic Johnson, who's found a shooting eye from outside, now has 8 points.
Magic getting
He's
hot.
the leading rebounder in the series. In fact, has been shooting 67% as the Lakers coming in with a gaudy shooting percentage. 97 degrees inside ancient Boston Garden. And the Laker foul called against Michael Cooper. It'll be Cooper's 3rd personal foul. 3 on Cooper, and that is the 4th team foul on the Lakers. The Celtics have 3. Bird, a 3-pointer for Larry Bird. And the Celtics are up by 6 points again, 47-41. Here's a pick and roll engineered by Magic Johnson to James Worthy, who rolled to the hoop. And it's a 4-point lead again. Worthy the rebound. And now Kareem looking up court. Cooper. Magic Johnson. Dennis Johnson won't let Magic free.
Good D. No
and
way.
Magic Johnson finally finding an open space.
No way.
Bird the rebound on the missed shot.
That ain't really your shot, Magic. Not like that.
Dennis Johnson. All the way in. And the Celtic bench is up. And a steal by Bird. Larry Bird finds Dennis Johnson, who's open. And Pat Riley wants a timeout.
And it's a great timeout, Dick, because the Lakers are dead tired right now. They're all with their hands on their hips. And for a fast break team with speed, that's not a good sign.
I remember that hot box. I mean, it was hot. I mean, everybody's sweating already. The game is still hour away. Everybody's just sweating, just anticipating this game. And what's going to happen? It was the highest level of basketball that I have ever played. I mean, you didn't sleep before you played the Celtics. You were so excited. You were playing the game before the game actually was played. You were wondering what Larry Bird was going to do. You know, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale. I mean, whew, that's basketball. That's basketball. Oh, man.
And it was basketball at its best in the '84 finals as Magic and Larry battled it out. They also had to battle the heat, which climbed to 98 degrees at courtside. Actually, Bird said he didn't mind the conditions that much. He said he would just run faster to try to create his own breeze. Whatever he did, it was working because the Celtics now lead by 3 in the third quarter as we return to Game 5 of the '84 finals.
And talking about the shooting percentage, the Celtics had the edge, but right now it's slimmed down. Boston shooting 47%, LA 45%. The Celtics have not hit 50% in any game so far, and the Lakers haven't been under 50. Maxwell has it knocked away by Magic, and Henderson is there, and that breaks a 7-point string by the Lakers. 5-point lead for the Celtics. We're nearly nearing the halfway point of this third session. McAdoo way over Bird. Kareem crashes the board, but Parrish comes out with it. And here's a Celtic break. Johnson. Bird.
That's a good little handoff.
23 for Larry Bird.
Whatever you
That
want
did
to call
not
it.
come out of the playbook, though.
First I thought he traveled, but I don't think so.
Kareem inside. Blocked by Parrish.
Good D, man.
Taken back by McGee, who challenges Robert Parrish and goes in with the shot.
That's the poor outlet pass that time by Parrish. Made a great play and then a poor pass.
Kevin McHale with his 4 personal fouls has been on the bench a long time, since early in the second period. Kareem steals to Worthy. McGee and Henderson fouls it. Gerald Henderson fouled McGee and probably saved the basket in the process. Here is McHale back in the ball game. He comes back with 4 fouls. And Swen Nader returns for the Lakers. And Kareem goes out. Abdul-Jabbar has 14 points and 5 for 21 shooting. McAdoo. And a loose ball foul called against Swen Nader. 3 fouls on Nader, who was part of 2 NCAA championship teams at UCLA. And a fine rebounder to spell Kareem so far in this series.
Well, the Celtics may go to Robert Parrish at this point. Nader can't guard him.
By Larry Bird, who has 25 points.
Cooking.
And is 11 for 14 shooting.
Cooking.
When Worthy is on him, he feels free to shoot the ball outside because Worthy wants to back off him.
McHale. McAdoo loses it to Dennis Johnson. It's a race with Magic.
McAdoo.
9-point lead.
I need you to bounce that ball, brother. Better.
Boston Celtics, who are playing in the same humidity, look as fresh as anything, and the Lakers look like they are exhausted.
This is no fun for a big guy playing in this heat. Well, that's Larry Bird, and he has played a lot of minutes so far. And normally when you get tired, a guy like Larry Bird starts to miss from the outside. All big people start to front rim things. But here he is. He's just hitting that long outside shot. He wants to win this thing so badly. I don't think he's even considering being tired.
Nah, especially when you're in the heat of the moment during the basketball game. A lot of that stuff you don't even feel till after the game, and then you're getting in the ice bath at that point. But yeah, it's the heat of the moment, man. All you're thinking about is basketball and playing, you know. For the most part, I mean, you know, you start going into overtime, you'll definitely start to feel it. And it depends on players' mileage and, you know, age. That also plays a factor into it. But generally speaking, you're locked in.
Tommy, you've had a lot of rough nights
Generally
and a lot of
speaking.
heat, and I know that Brent talked about that triple overtime with Phoenix. Was that the most grueling night you spent here?
It sure was. I got dehydrated in that triple overtime and passed out in the locker room in front of the press. There's Kareem.
Golly,
and actually just passed out right there in front of the newspaper guy.
You know, that's even, ooh, yeah, you might be, you're not even taking consideration that it's big-ass stadium, it's a freaking hot locker room in there, thousands of people's in the stands, no AC, body heat, just radiating throughout the arena constantly. Oh, God, it probably smelled in there, too. Definitely hard to breathe in those conditions. I take back, you know, I totally just didn't even really take into consideration the smoldering, humid heat that they're dealing with in that arena. How could you not feel that? But still, you can still lock in. You can still lock in.
Of course, you're talking about that great game in 1976. Tommy Heinsohn guiding the Celtics to the title over Phoenix. Good feed from Magic Johnson to Mike McGee. 76-69, 4:20 to go in the third period. Henderson, alley-oop, Parrish. So Parrish got behind McAdoo. They went back door, and it worked.
Well, Nader was playing the play. He thought he was going to try and come to the low post, and they double-crossed him. A little alley-oop to Barrett.
Steal by Bird. McHale deflected it. And Johnson tips it out of bounds. Still Boston ball, and you can see the Celtic bench very much in this game. Leading 78-69, 9-point lead. Biggest margin for Boston was 12. Henderson. And Swen Nader clears it to McGee. Celtics getting back on defense. McGee went around, but without the ball. And an offensive foul called against L.A. Dennis Johnson was hit in the face.
I like what Larry did. After he passed the ball in bounds, he sprinted directly under the basket to try to start the box out.
And Dennis Johnson had him played absolutely perfectly.
4 personal fouls now on Mike McGee, who was a starter most of the playoffs until the move made by Pat Riley in the 6th game at Phoenix to put in James Worthy at forward and Michael Cooper at guard, and it worked. Right now, the Celtics lead in a 2-2 series. Here's Bird again.
Oh, I thought that was butter. Pump fake, step back.
Personal fouls on Kevin McHale as he tried to go over the top. Byron Scott is coming in for the first time in the ball game, the rookie Laker guard.
You can't worry about fouling out. You got to go and do your job. There's McHale over the top.
Dude, that's a weak foul call.
Tell you the truth.
Wow.
He had his hands on the ball like the other 2 players.
15 foul. McAdoo will go to the line to shoot 2.
That's a bad call.
He's got the weirdest free throw shot, Bob McAdoo. When I first saw him in the Olympic tryouts, he didn't hit. They told me he scored 38 points a game in college.
It is a bit unorthodox. It's almost like he shoots like that.
So McGee went out, and Byron Scott, the rookie from Arizona State, is in the ball game. He's a good outside shooter. Here's McHale.
Black hole.
Blocked by Nader, I believe. And here come the Lakers, trying to cut it to 6. Nader off the rim. And a foul, loose ball against James Worthy. And all the gentleman from North Carolina did was nod his head to Earl Strom.
It was that season's hottest TV show. I've never heard of these TV shows before. I wasn't born yet. 1984. I was still 3 years away. Hill Street Blues. Never heard of it.
Here comes the big guy.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar comes into the ball game.
He probably used up the whole bottle of oxygen.
Anything that helps.
Kareem.
So is back. He has scored 14 points. Danny Ainge is back in the ball game.
5 for 21 as a center.
But when he
Not
gets up
very
to the
good.
manners, then you'll know something, right? Here's Kevin McHale, who's playing with 5 personal fouls. Why is Casey Jones keeping McHale in the game with 5 fouls?
Letting him play.
He believes that he needs McHale in the ball game right now to make his statement. And McHale will play hard with 5 fouls. They still got Maxwell on the bench. Their forwards are in foul trouble, although Maxwell's getting ready to report in.
Dennis Johnson on Magic Johnson. McHale is on Nader. Nader and Kareem, 2 big guys in the lineup for the Lakers. James Worthy.
Wow. How did that come out?
And the Celtics looking to open it up to 11. Here's Dennis Johnson. They do.
Him and Larry connected, man.
19 for Dennis Johnson. He had 22 in his coming out party Wednesday night at the Forum.
Every time I feel like they pass to each other, so I almost feel like it's a guaranteed bucket.
Here's Byron Scott.
Assist and score.
They want him for the outside shooting. Nader gets the offensive rebound, and they call a Boston foul. Both teams in the penalty. Nader will shoot. Danny Ainge commits the personal foul. McAdoo also going for the oxygen. So the Lakers, who have had oxygen at their bench in previous series at places like Denver and in Phoenix, having to use it for the first time in Boston as Worthy goes out. Worthy has 18, Tom.
Scott in the ball game for his outside shooting. Wilkes for that outside shooting, perhaps to get Kareem some better inside shots. If Scott and Wilkes can get those outside shots, going to open up once again for Kareem.
McHale with 5 fouls is on the bench. Maxwell replaces him. The Lakers, do they have a running kind of team out there now, in your opinion?
A semi-running team. They've got the Twin Towers in there, Swen Nader, so they can play power, and they still got 3 guys that can get up the court quickly.
2:15 to go, third period. Maxwell, Ainge, open. Danny Ainge, who's played a significant role in the 2 Boston wins in games 2 and 4, 21 points combined in those games. Magic Johnson throws it away, going for Wilkes, but it was tipped by a Celtic. So the Lakers maintain possession with 2:01 on the clock. They're going to go with a rebounder in here. Kurt Rambis replaces Swen Nader. Rambis goes in for the 34-year-old Swen Nader.
You know, my hat's off to Earl Strum, boy. He's not a young man, and he's still got the sharp eye here in the late stages of this third quarter.
Jamal Wilkes in the corner. They swing it around, and Magic Johnson trying to feed that extra pass inside, but hold it. There's a foul against the Lakers. Kurt Rambis. Ray Kite is coming into the ball game. He was the #1 pick by the Celtics from Brigham Young. He's strong. He's good around the hoop, and the Celtics like what they see in him. And this is not a bad spot to use him, I would think, as Maxwell goes out. So when you have an 11-point lead and maybe 13 points, you can afford to bring in Kite.
Rookie. You're right.
Ainge.
Oof.
1:45 to go. 83-72. Here's Rambis inside. No basket traveling called against Rambis. Try for a steal. And now it's Lakers ball as it was knocked out of bounds. Magic Johnson shaken up. 83-72, nearly a minute.
Magic, I'm gonna need you to connect on one of these passes, buddy.
The Lakers have outplayed the Boston Celtics for 3 games, 4 games really. As Kareem gets inside and gets a basket and a foul, and this is the first game in the series that the Celtics have outplayed the Lakers. And if they hold on and win the game, they're leading 3-2. We have a long way to go. But how do you assess the way the impetus is going?
It's going pretty good, but right here, Greg Kite isn't going too good as he lets Kareem slip right inside and never did get that huge body on Jabbar.
Kareem has the 3-point play. 83-75, 1:24 remaining. Ainge to Bird. Three-point attempt by Danny Ainge.
Danny Ainge said, I'm out here to shoot.
Larry Bird has two of them, and Danny Ainge has one. Three-point plays, and with under a minute to go, the Celtics lead again by 11. Rambis inside. And a Celtic foul.
Off ball.
Now they say illegal defense called against Boston. So the Lakers and the Celtics each have been hit with an illegal defense call. Maxwell was the guilty party, and the next time, of course, for either side will result in a technical foul. Quinn Buckner comes in for Dennis Johnson. Listen to the hand for Dennis Johnson. "19 points for Dennis Johnson. He has 5 assists as well. 44 seconds remaining in the third period. Wilkes loses it out of bounds.
Lakers are sloppy with the passes, man. They're trying to force.
Here's Ainge for three again.
I thought that was good.
Trying to get the break going to Magic. He's got Wilkes and Byron Scott.
Hey, I was going to say, pull up and just shoot that. Don't put the ball on the floor. Just shoot it. That Boston front court is a lot to deal with, too.
Wouldn't be a bad idea to get it to Larry Bird right now instead of taking those long bomb outside shots that Ainge just let fly.
Well, Bird has hit a couple of those from three-point territory. 7 seconds. You watch the clock. Ainge finds an open Bird. Takes Rambis.
That's money. I remember seeing that one at a different angle. But the minute the pump fake happened, I knew what play that was.
Just another of Bird's patented buzzer beaters. He ended up with 34 points and 17 rebounds as the Celtics won Game 5 on their way to the title. Boston won it again in '86 with what many consider one of the NBA's greatest teams. And even though it was Bird's last championship, he still provided more thrilling moments like his famous steal against Isaiah Thomas in the '87 playoffs and his fourth quarter shootout with Dominique Wilkins in '88. But clutch play is just part of Larry's legacy. He was also a blue-collar superstar. More about that when we continue in just a moment.
Walter Davis. I didn't know Bill Laimbeer was that good of a free throw shooter. I wonder how many he would take.
Welcome back to Vintage NBA. Magic Johnson once said Larry Bird was the only player he ever truly feared, mainly because he could find so many different ways to beat you, whether it was with his clutch shot, the perfect pass, or the key rebound. And if none of that was enough to win, Larry would even sacrifice his own body. And Bird wouldn't hesitate to dive on the floor for a loose ball. And there have been some others who played the same way. For example, Bailey Howell, a hard-working power forward who brought his blue-collar style to the Celtic championship teams of the late 1960s. In the 70s, Ron Lee crashed the NBA with the Phoenix Suns after playing for the Kamikaze Kids at the University of Oregon, and at least he helped up those he knocked down. Got to give him credit for that. Carrying on the tradition was the Worm, Dennis Rodman, who would go flying in the pursuit of a rebound, nose rings, tattoos, and all. And Charles Oakley would stop at nothing in pursuit of a loose ball. He picked up many a floor burn during his years with the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. Taking it to the 90s is Bo Outlaw, who brought his relentless non-stop hustle to the Orlando Magic. And here are a few others who are birds of a feather.
I got to say my own teammate, Darrell Armstrong. He give you 110%. I don't care if you're 6'10 or 5'10. If he needs to take a charge, he there.
And Armstrong stood in there. What
Darrell Armstrong.
Broke up the break.
Eric Snow, obviously he's not the player that.
Growing up in the Orlando area, saw a lot of Darrell Armstrong, Pat Garrity, T-Mac, Bo Outlaw, Drew Gooden, Gordon Gierczek. Darrell Armstrong. That dude was lightning quick, speedy. What was his? He had a nickname. Can't remember what it was.
You know, Larry Bird was, but he was the kind of guy that would dive on the floor, put his body in front of 7-footers.
Penny,
rebound the ball. He'll
Nick
do
Anderson.
To win a ball game.
I would pick Mario Alley. He did a lot for that team as far as sacrificing his body, doing all the little dirty work for that team to become a world champion.
Mario with another great play. If AJ runs it down, which he does, it's a layup. How about Alley once again?
I think John Stockton is a guy that sacrifices his body. He's always on the floor and very scrappy, and so he takes a large amount of punishment, and he's a good description of somebody that gives up their body every single night.
While some players may have the hustle of Larry Bird, few have ever had his combination of skills and savvy. He could well be the greatest all-around forward in NBA history, and he's part of a long line of versatile forwards. Next to Bird, Rick Barry was probably the best passing forward of all time, and he's the only player ever to lead the NBA, ABA, and NCAA in scoring. He even led the NBA in steals one season. Dave DeBusschere was one of the stars of the Knicks championship teams of the early 70s. Besides being a tremendous rebounder, he also consistently nailed the outside J. Dave's teammate, Jerry Lucas, helped the Knicks win the '73 title with his soft shooting touch and tenacious work on the boards that made him one of the greatest rebounders in NBA history.
Oh, a putback.
Hall of Famer Dan Issel starred for the Denver Nuggets in both the ABA and the NBA. He's one of the game's all-time scoring leaders and is the Nuggets' career leader in rebounding. And yes, there is Sir Charles Barkley. He's 6'5", but plays a lot bigger as a power forward. He not only shoots from outside, but is one of the few forwards who can make a steal at one end, take it coast to coast, and then jam it at the other end. Now, if you want to give us your own comparisons to Larry Bird or your memories of Larry, drop us an email at nba.com. And we want to thank all of you who've been writing in. After last week's show on the king of the triple-double, Oscar Robertson, someone asked if anyone's ever had a quadruple-double. Well, 4 players have done it. Nate Thurman, Alvin Robertson, Hakeem Olajuwon, and David Robinson. So keep those emails coming. We'll be right back.
And Larry Bird could have did it with 10 steals. (24, 10, and 6). Pretty damn good.
After the Celtics' 1986 championship, Larry Bird began to suffer from chronic back problems. The injuries eventually forced him to retire, but not before one more championship, a gold medal with the '92 Dream Team. The Celtics retired Larry's famous number 33, and he entered the Hall of Fame in 1998, the first year he was eligible. Well, that will just about do it for us today and also for this season. We want to thank you for joining us here on Vintage NBA. We sure hope you've enjoyed our shows. I'm Robin Roberts, and we'll see you again next season. Take care.
We are here tonight to honor a man whose feats on the basketball court are simply the stuff of legend. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bird.
So, like I said, I've got a video reacting to his retirement ceremony. If you want to check that out, go check out the Larry Bird playlist. I covered that, and I covered...
There will never, ever be another Larry Bird.
the statue ceremony
I dedicated my life to basketball.
for his college.
And I dedicated my life to the Boston Celtics. Yes, I'm going to miss playing for the Boston Celtics because I was very proud to play for the Boston Celtics. I say good night, Boston, and may God bless each and every one of you.
Maybe I'm tripping about Daryl Armstrong's. I could have swore, at least in Orlando, in the Florida area, could have swore we used to call him something, man. It was about how quick and fast he was. Like, I wanted to say some people called him the Flash before Dwayne Wade got that moniker, but I'm not completely sure. But it might have been something along those lines. But I legitimately cannot remember what we was calling him in Orlando. Anyway, it's beside the point. That was good. There was some bits and pieces there that I hadn't seen before. as far as the storytelling goes and what was said, I was familiar with pretty much everything. But a lot of that Magic Johnson interview I definitely had not heard yet. So it was quite funny. And I didn't expect them to show so much NBA footage there from that game. I'm definitely about to get copyright smacked right now, but I don't really care. A lot of my videos do. I don't care. I'm not, as long as it doesn't strike my channel. But it was cool to see some extensive game footage of Lakers versus Celtics there, and what was that, 1987, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But that was cool to see. I love just sitting down and like watching, you know, uninterrupted footage of old school basketball, especially that Lakers and Celtics rivalry, man. There's a lot of Hall of Famers on the court at one time in that video. So it's cool to see. Magic I felt like he was trying to force a lot of, but I mean, you know, it comes with the territory, man, because Magic's like one of the few guys, and in my opinion, the greatest passer to ever play the game, but he's able to usually slip those passes through areas where it's like that's not supposed to be able to get to that player. How do you get past all those defenders? I mean, he's notorious for doing that, and of course, realistically, you're not going to get him through all the time. So there you get to see, like in a non-highlight reel, you know, times he's getting intercepted on his passes and picked off. But it comes with the territory. In order to pull stuff off like that, you have to obviously attempt it, but you know, there's going to be times where you don't always get it off. But and that Boston Celtics front court, man, that's before they had got Bill Walton too. With the footage we were looking at, once they got Bill too, man, that arguably the greatest front court we've ever seen on a basketball team at one time, arguably, and many people will consider that Celtics team, the one with Bill Walton, to be the greatest Celtics team ever, or the greatest basketball team ever, some people would say. But there's a video about that I will react to soon, as far as making the case for the greatest NBA team of all time. Pretty sure they covered that Celtics team with Walton, but I'm not completely sure. But correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. And like she said email her. She said email. I had a chuckle at that. I was like, yeah, it's back in the day, man. Dial-up internet. You know, if you only had one line, if you only had one telephone line, no calls were getting through when you were on the internet, boy. When we had that dial-up, that AOL dial-up, or that Netscape, the free internet, Netscape dial-up, or Juno free internet. Remember Netscape Communicator, the Lighthouse, or Juno. Boy, I was on that computer all day, man. Nobody was getting through the home phone line. Get off the internet. I gotta make a call. Why is nobody calling the house? Boy, get off the internet. Turn it off. Go do something else. And then we finally got broadband. And then just like, stay on the internet forever. Cable. Sweet. But she said email her. That was so funny, emailing commentary and things like that, man. But you don't have to email me right here in the comment section, because we are in the year 2023. Let me know your favorite Larry Bird moment or other Larry Bird moments that mean something to you or stand out to you. Let me know in the comment section. Appreciate you guys for the support. Like I said, check out the Larry Bird playlist. Check out the reaction video playlist. Cover a bunch of stuff. I'm back from my vacation now, so I'll be covering more NBA playoffs and current stuff now that I'm back in business, baby. All right? Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Bird Gang, what up? We out, baby.